Everything.
Everything? All about Mr. Adams and Mr. Wilson?
I shall simply tell them that you're trying to blackmail me into murdering your wife.
I almost wished you would. When she heard that, we'd have the best laugh of our lives.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Am I?
You told me a few things tonight.
What of it?
Suppose I tell them how you followed her to that studio in Chelsea, how you watched them cooking spaghetti and all of that rubbish. Wouldn't that ring a bell?
It certainly would. If they'd assume you followed her there yourself.
Me? Why should I?
Why should you steal her handbag? Why should you write those blackmail notes? Can you prove you didn't? You certainly can't prove I did. It shall be a straight case of your word against mine.
That ought to puzzle them. What could you say?
I shall say you came here tonight, half drunk, and tried to borrow money on the strength that we were at college together. But when I refused, you said something about a letter belonging to my wife. As far as I can make out, you were offering to sell it to me, so I gave you what money I had, and you gave me the letter. It has your fingerprints on it, remember? Then you said if I went to the police, you'd tell some crazy story about me wanting you to murder my wife. But before we go any further, do consider the inconvenience. You see, I'm quite well known, and there would be pictures of you as well. Sooner or later, a deputation of lodgers and landladies will come forward to testify to your character, and someone is almost certain to have seen you with Miss Wallace. You were very careful not to be seen around with her. I noticed. You usually met in out-of-the-way places like that tea shop in Pimlico.
That was her idea, not mine.
Yes. It was a bit crummy, wasn't it? Hardly the place to take Mrs. Van Dorn. By the way, does Mrs. Van Dorn know about Mr. Adams and Mr. Wilson and Miss Wallace? You were planning to marry Mrs. Van Dorn, weren't you?
Smart, aren't you?
Not really. I just had time to think things out, putting myself in your position. That's why I know you're going to agree.
What makes you think I'll agree?
For the same reason that a donkey with a stick behind him and a carriage in front goes forwards and not backwards.
Tell me about the carrot.
£1,000 in cash.
For a murder?
For a few minutes' work. That's all it is. And no risk, I guarantee. That ought to appeal to you. You've been skating on very thin ice.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You ought to know. It was in all the papers. A middle-aged woman was found dead due to an overdose of cocaine. It appeared as though she'd been taking the stuff for quite a time, but no one seems to know where she got it. But we know, don't we? Poor Miss Wallace. Yes. I think you should take a long holiday abroad. Surely a honeymoon with Mrs. Van Dorn would be preferable to 10 years detention in Dartmoor. £9,000 should see you safely married to her. You'll find it makes such a difference having some money in the family.
This £1,000. Where is it?
Some small attaché case in the check room.
Where?
Somewhere in London. Of course, we don't meet again. When you deliver the goods, I'll mail you the check room ticket and the key to the case. You can have this £100 on account.
The police would only have to trace one of those notes back to you, and they'd hang us both from the same rope.
They won't. For a whole year, I've been cashing an extra £20 a week, always in fivers. I then change them for these at my leisure.
Let's see your bank statement.
By all means. Don't touch.
Turn back a page. Your account has dropped by over £1,000 in a year. Suppose the police ask you about that.
I go dog racing twice a week.
They'll check with your bookmaker.
Like you, I always bet on the tote. Satisfied?
When would this take place?
Tomorrow evening.
Tomorrow? Not a chance. I have to think this over.
It's going to be tomorrow. I've arranged things that way.
Where?
Approximately where you're standing now.
How?
Tomorrow evening, Halliday. That's the American boyfriend. And I shall go to a stag party just down the road. She shall stay here. She'll go to bed early and listen to Saturday Night Theatre on the wireless. She always does when I go out. At 23 minutes to 11, you'll enter this house by the street door. You'll find the key to this door under the stair carpet. Here.
The 5th step.
That's the one. Go straight to the window and hide behind the curtains. At 20 minutes to 11, I shall go to the phone in the hotel to ring my boss. I shall dial the wrong number. This number. That's all I shall do. You'll see the light go on underneath the bedroom door. When she opens the door, the light will stream across the room, so don't move until she's answered the phone. There must be as little noise as possible. When you've finished, pick up the phone and give me a soft whistle. Then hang up. Don't speak, whatever you do. When I hear your whistle, I shall hang up and redial, the correct number this time. I shall then speak to my boss as if nothing has happened and return to the party.
What happens then? Go on.
You'll find this suitcase here. It will contain some clothes of mine for the cleaners. Open it and tip the clothes onto the floor, then fill it with this cigarette box and some of these cups. Close the lid, but don't snap the locks. Then leave it here, just as it is now.
As if I left in a hurry.
Yes. Now, the window. If it's locked, unlock it and leave it open. Then go out exactly the same way you came in.
By that door.
Yes. Now here's the most important thing. As you go out, return the key to the place where you found it.
Under the stair carpet?
Yes.
Exactly what is supposed to have happened.
They'll assume you entered by the window. You thought the apartment was empty, so you took the suitcase and went to work. She heard a noise and switched on her light. You saw the light go on underneath the door and hid behind the curtain. When she came in, you attacked her before she could scream. When you realized you'd actually killed her, you panicked and bolted into the garden, leaving your loot behind.
Wait a minute. I'm supposed to have entered by the windows. What if they'd been locked?
That wouldn't matter. You see, she often goes for a walk around the garden before she goes to bed, and she usually forgets to lock up afterwards. That's what I shall tell the police.
But she may say...
She isn't going to say anything, is she?
Is there any reason why I shouldn't go out by the garden?
Yes, you'd have to climb an iron gate. If someone saw you, you might be followed.
All right. I leave the flat, put the key under the stair carpet, and go out by the street door. What if the street door had been locked? How should I get in the first place?
The street door's never locked.
When will you get back?
About 12. I shall bring Halliday back here for a nightcap, so we shall find her together. And we will have been together since we left her. There's my alibi.
You've forgotten something.
What?
When you return with, what's his name, Halliday, how did you get sure you get back into the apartment?
I shall let myself in.
But if you left your key under the stair carpet, he's bound to see you take it out. That will give the whole show away.
No, it won't be my key under the carpet. It will be hers. I'll take it from her handbag before I leave the flat and put it out there. She won't be going out, so she won't miss it. Then, when I return with Halliday, I'll use my key to let us in. When he's searching the garden of something, I'll take the key back out from underneath the carpet and return it to her handbag before the police arrive.
How many keys are there to that door?
Just hers and mine. Maid of Vale 0401.
Tony, it's me.
Oh, hello, darling. How's it going?
Wonderfully. It's really a dreadful play, and we're enjoying every minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm glad.
How are you?
Very sleepy. I made myself some coffee to try and keep awake. Darling, just a moment. I think there's someone at the door. Careful. You can be seen from the bedroom window. Sorry, darling. False alarm.
You will join us, won't you?
Afraid not. I hardly seem to have started.
Oh, Tony, it never does work out, does it?
Oh, we'll manage it one day.
I say, darling.
Yes.
It seems awfully mean, but would you mind if Max and I went somewhere afterwards? You see...
Of course I don't mind. What do you want to do? Dance? Take him to Jerry's.
How do we get in?
Give my name at the door. I don't know about the band, but food's good. By the way, Maureen rang up just after you've gone. Wants us to go to dinner on Wednesday. You've got something written in your schedule, but I can't read your writing. Looks like Al Bentel. Who's he? Another of your boyfriends?
Albert Hall, you idiot.
Oh, of course, the Albert Hall. I'm so glad we can't go to Maureen's. She's such a filthy cook.
There's the bell. I must fly.
Oh, all right. Bye, sweet. Well. After that, he lost concentration and didn't win another game.
Where's the picture of the Maharaja?
It's among the loose ones somewhere. Darling, when are you going to finish pasting in those press clippings?
I shall find time one of these days. Here we are. There's the Maharaja. Isn't he dreamy?
He had 4 Rolls Royces and enough jewels to sink a battleship, but all he really wanted to do was play at Wimbledon.
The poor darling, he was so short-sighted he could hardly see the end of the racket, let alone the ball.
You know, you ought to write a book about all this stuff.
Why don't you two collaborate? A detective novel with a tennis background.
Murder on Center Court. How about it, Max? Can you provide me with the perfect murder?
Nothing I'd like better.
How do you start to write a detective story?
Well, you forget about detection and concentrate on crime. Crime's the main thing. Imagine you go steal something or murder somebody.
Is that what you do? Interesting.
Yes, I always put myself in the criminal's shoes and think, well, what do I do next?
Do you really believe in the perfect murder?
Absolutely. On paper. And I think I can plan one better than most people. But I doubt I could ever carry it out.
Why ever not?
Because in stories, things always turn out as the author plans them. But in real life, they don't always. I imagine my murders would be something like my bridge. I'd make some damn stupid mistake and never realize it until I found everyone was staring at me.
I think we'd better be going, Max.
All right, sir.
Are you doing anything tomorrow?
No, I don't think so.
Well, let's all drive down to Windsor for lunch.
Good idea. Come around early, but not too early. We may be nursing a hangover.
About 11?
That'll do fine. Darling, did I lend you my latchkey? I can't find mine anywhere.
I may have them both in my handbag. I'll go check.
Raining pretty hard. I could lend you a raincoat if that's all right.
No, this should do. It isn't far, is it?
No. Just down the road.
I only have one here. Are you sure you didn't leave yours in your overcoat?
Yes, I looked there. Could you lend me yours?
Well, it's a bit awkward.
Why?
Well, I may want to go out.
Tonight?
Yes, I thought I might go to a movie or something.
But aren't you going to listen to the wireless Saturday night theater?
No, it's a thriller. I don't like thrillers when I'm alone.
I see.
In any case, I'll be back before you so I can let you in.
We won't be back till after midnight. You may be asleep by then.
You know, you could always leave the key under the proverbial mat.
All right, chaps. Had it here in my glove all the time.
That settles that.
Oh, what movie will you see?
The classic, I expect.
Will you get in? Saturday night.
I can always try. Now, don't make me stay in, darling. You know how I hate doing nothing.
Nothing? But there are hundreds of things you could do. Have you written to Peggy about last weekend? And what about these press clippings? It's an ideal opportunity.
Well, I like that. You two go gallivanting while I stay home and do those boring clippings.
Oh, I see. Well, we won't go then.
What do you mean?
Well, it's obvious you don't want us to go out tonight, so we won't. We'll stay here with you. What do you want to do? Play
Now,
cards?
tell me, darling.
I better phone Brendan and tell him we're not coming.
Let's not be childish about this. I'll do your old press clippings.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
But I do want to. Have we any paste?
In the desk, I think.
And some scissors in that mending basket. Oh, look, the paste tube is empty. Would be. Never mind, Mrs. Lucas is bound to have some.
Who's she?
She lives just across the road. I'll drop around later. Thank you, darling.
You know, you could make some paste. All you need is a little flour, some starch.
Good idea. Do you know how to do it, Max?
Just take me a moment.
Good old Max. I'm sorry, darling. Was I very unreasonable?
No, I don't mind. I'll tell you what. I'll paste these in tonight. Then you put in that extra shelf in the kitchen as you promised.
First thing tomorrow. Promise.
Oh, it's the starch.
I'll show you. She swats without the chives.
If it gets thick, just add some more water and keep stirring.
Keep the fire in for us, darling.
I will.
Oh, and it's just possible old man Burgess may phone tonight. If he does, it may be rather important. Tell him I met the Garenda.
What's the number?
It's in full.
All right. Well, look after each other.
Oh, we will. Good night, Margot.
Good night, Max. You will drive Max home in the car afterwards, won't you, darling?
Of course. I'll bring him by here for a nightcap first. Sure you won't be up?
I shall be fast asleep, and I don't want to be disturbed.
Then we'll be quiet as mice. Goodbye, darling.
Bye.
Come on, Max.
Hello? Hello?
The police! Quickly, the police!
Margot?
Who's that?
Darling, it's me.
Oh, thank God, Tony, come home at once.
What's the matter?
I can't explain now. Come quickly, please.
Darling, pull yourself together. What is it?
A man attacked me. Tried to strangle me.
Has he gone?
He's dead. He's dead. Tony, are you still there?
Margot.
Yes.
Now, listen very carefully.
Yes, I'm listening.
Don't touch anything. I'll be with you in a minute.
No, I won't.
Don't touch anything and don't speak to anybody until I get back.
I won't touch anything.
You promise?
Promise, only please be quick. He got something around my neck. It felt like a stocking.
Are you sure? Let me see. I better call a doctor.
But he's dead.
I know. It looks as if those scissors have been driven right through him.
How awful. Can't you...
Yes, right away. What are you doing?
Will you give me some water, please?
That's better.
Shut the window.
No, we mustn't touch anything, not till the police have arrived. He must have broken in. Wonder what he was after. Those cops, I expect.
When will the police get here?
Have you found them already?
No, you told me not to speak to anyone until you got here. Hadn't we better call them now?
Yes, in a minute.
I'll get dressed.
Why?
They'll want to see me.
They're not going to see you.
But they'll have to ask me questions.
They can wait until tomorrow. I'll tell them everything they need to know.
Tony?
Yes.
Why did you phone me?
What? Sorry, I'll explain it later. I've just thought of something. You said he used a stocking.
It felt like a stocking or a scarf. Isn't it there?
No, but I expect they'll find it. Now you get back to bed and I'll phone the police right away. I told him to go straight home. Hello, operator. Give me the Maida Vale police, quickly.
Did you tell him?
No, I didn't know what had happened here, so I told him I was feeling rotten. Now, darling, get back to bed and I'll take care of it.
Maida Vale police.
Police, there's been a ghastly accident.
Yes, sir?
A man has been killed.
Your name, sir?
Wendis.
D-I-double-S?
No, D-I-C-E.
Your address, sir?
61A Charrington Gardens. It's the ground floor apartment.
When was this here accident?
About 10 minutes ago. He broke in and attacked my wife.
A burglar?
Yes, I'll explain everything when you get here. How long will it take?
About 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Don't touch anything, will you, sir?
No, we won't touch anything. Goodbye. All right, darling. Won't be a minute.
More tea?
No, thank you.
We'd better phone Max and tell him.
I have. He's on his way over.
Did he enjoy the party last night?
He certainly did. Made a remarkably good speech, except he would keep referring to us as limeys. Oh, yes, he's all there, is Max. Where did you dig him up?
I met him once at Peggy's, and then I met him again before he went back to New York.
Oh, yes. So you told me.
Tell
By
me
the way,
what-
sorry.
No, go on.
I've closed the shutters in the bedroom, that's all.
Why?
People have begun to go out for the Sunday papers. We now have a collection of refined snoopers.
How awful. Is it in the papers already?
I don't think so. Not yet, but news travels fast. What were you going to say?
I can't remember. It's gone for the moment.
Hello,
Mrs. Wendis, please.
this is Mr. Wendis.
Oh, good morning, sir. I'm with the CNS News Service. Might I see Mrs. Wendis for a few minutes?
I'm afraid she can't see anyone just now, not for a day or two.
Oh, was she hurt in any way?
No, she's all right now.
I just want 1 or 2 photographs.
I'm afraid not.
But surely...
I'm sorry. Goodbye.
Who was that?
Just a reporter. Wanted to take some photographs for you.
I suppose we should get a lot of that.
Not for long. After the inquest's over, they'll forget all about it. So will you.
When would it be?
The inquest? Tomorrow, Tuesday, I should think.
What would happen?
Nothing to worry about. The coroner will probably congratulate you for putting up such a good show.
For killing a man.
Now, don't start getting ideas about that. It was him or you. The police surgeon said it was lucky those scissors were on the desk.
Why were the police so long last night?
Were they? I didn't notice. I dropped off to sleep rather quickly.
I know you did. They stayed for hours. Cars seemed to be coming and going all night.
I only saw the sergeant. Nice chap. He seemed to have everything under control.
At one point, I thought they must be turning all the furniture around.
Well, they didn't make much mess. They've even emptied the waste paper basket. That was thoughtful of them.
Someone kept flashing a light underneath the bedroom door.
And taking photographs, probably.
At 2 o'clock, I had enough of it. I had to get up and come in here
You came in here before.
to ask them when they expected to finish. But when I saw them, I couldn't say anything. 2 men were on the floor with a tape measure. Another was outside. He kept opening and shutting the window. They all stopped what they were doing and just stared at me. I felt such a fool. And on the desk were a pair of shoes. His, I suppose.
Darling, before I forget, the sergeant wanted to know why you didn't bring the police immediately.
But how could I? You were on the phone.
I know, but...
You distinctly told me not to speak to anyone until you got here.
I know, darling, but I told him a slightly different story.
Why?
I said you didn't phone the police immediately because you naturally assumed I would phone them from the hotel.
Why did you say that?
Because it was the perfectly logical explanation, and he accepted it. You see, if they thought for a moment that we delay reporting it, even for a few minutes, they might hit notice.
And you want me to say the same thing?
I think so. Just in case it comes up again. I expect that's Max. Let him in, will you, darling? I'll just get rid of these.
Good morning, madam.
Oh, good morning.
Mrs. Wendis.
Yes.
I'm a police officer. May I come in?
Yes, of course. Excuse me, I'll tell my husband that you're here.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. I'm Chief Inspector Hubbard. I'm in charge of the criminal investigation of this division.
I believe I gave your sergeant all the necessary information.
Yes, I've seen his report, of course, but there are a few things I'd like to get firsthand. I gather my sergeant only saw you for a few moments, Mrs. Wendis. Mrs. Wendis?
Yes, I...
My wife was suffering from considerable shock.
Yes, that was a very nasty experience you had. Mind if I take a look around?
Go ahead. The bedroom and bathroom are through there.
Well, he certainly didn't cut in by the bathroom.
And the kitchen has bars on the window. We assumed he came in through these windows.
I understand you weren't here when this happened, sir.
No, I was at a dinner party at the Grandin Hotel.
Just down the road.
Yes. As a curious coincidence, I was actually phoning my wife when she was attacked.
So I gather. Can you tell me exactly what time it was?
I'm not sure.
Did you notice, Mrs. Wendis?
No, I didn't.
You phoned the police at 3 minutes to 11, sir.
Let me see. And then it must have been 11:15. By the way, Inspector, would you care to sit down?
Thank you.
Have you any idea who he was?
Yes. At least we've discovered where he lived. There still seems to be some confusion as to his real name.
Oh.
He appeared to have several. Had you ever seen him before?
No, of course not. Is this him?
Yes. You don't recognize him?
No, I've never seen him.
Didn't you even catch a glimpse of his face?
No, you see, he attacked me from behind. I hardly saw him at all.
But before I showed you that photograph, you said you'd never seen him before. How could you know that if you never saw his face last night?
I don't quite understand.
Inspector, my wife simply meant that as far as she knew, she'd never seen him before.
Was that what you meant?
Yes, I'm sorry.
How about you, sir? Ever seen him before?
No. At least.
Yes.
He looks very like someone I was at college with. The mustache makes quite a difference.
What was his name?
Now you're asking. It's nearly 20 years ago.
Was it Leslie?
No.
Wilson?
No.
Swan?
No. Swan? Yes, that's it. Look, there's no photo of us at a reunion dinner. We were at the same college together. There he is. It's unbelievable.
Did you know him well?
No, he was senior to me.
Have you met him since then?
No. At least, come to think of it, I did see him quite recently, but not to speak to.
When was that?
About 6 months ago. It was at a railway station, Waterloo, I think. I remember noticing how little he'd changed.
Had he a mustache then?
No.
Mrs. Wendis, would you show me exactly what happened last night?
Tell me, do I have to?
Afraid so, darling.
I was in bed when the phone rang. I got up and came in here.
Did you switch the light on?
No.
Just show me exactly where you were standing.
I stood here and I picked up the phone.
Are you sure you had your back to the window like that?
Yes.
But why?
Why not?
Why go around the desk? I should have picked it up from this side.
Surely my wife can't remember.
Just a moment, sir.
But I always answer the phone from here.
Why?
So that if I want to write anything down, I can hold the phone in my left hand.
I see. All right. Go on.
I picked up the phone, and he must have come from behind the curtains, and he got something around my neck.
Something. What do you mean by something?
It felt like a stocking.
I see. What happened then?
He pushed me onto the desk. I distinctly remember feeling for the scissors.
Where were those scissors usually kept?
In that mending basket. I'd forgotten to put them away.
Now, what makes you think he came from behind those curtains?
Where else could he be?
The curtains were drawn, I suppose.
Yes, they were.
Did you draw them yourself?
I drew them, Inspector, before I went out.
Did you lock the window at the same time?
Yes.
Are you quite sure of that, sir?
Perfectly sure. I always lock up when I draw the curtain.
Then how do you suppose he got into this room?
We assumed that he broke in.
There's no sign of a break-in. The lock's quite undamaged.
But he must have done. When I got back, those windows were wide open. At least, Margot, did you go out into the garden and forget to lock up afterwards?
I did go out for a moment after he attacked me. I wanted to get some air, so I opened up the window and I stood on the terrace outside.
Did you call for help?
I'd just spoken to my husband on the telephone.
You say you opened the window. Are you sure you didn't unlock it first?
Yes, quite sure.
Was it already open?
I don't remember.
Mrs. Wendis, why